call me Dill because I'm in a pickle.
As I take my coffee mug full of vodka. Wow. It's a whole new world.
No,
Fails
I've got
to
a couple
share.
more in the barrel ready to go.
This is Girl Same with your host, Brittinie. Girl. Girl Same.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Girl Same, our Girls Night podcast. I'm your host, Brittinie, and I'm here with Marissa. This is the first of our new mini episodes. We're going to be switching between full episodes, which will be a little deeper conversation, and these minis are going to be a little lighter. Before we get started, though, I have an exciting announcement. Jen Hamilton is going to be on the show next week. Jen founded Hot Mess Express, which we talk about on here all the time. And she also has over 2.5 million.
Over 2.5.
2.5 million followers on TikTok. And she really is as awesome in person as she is online. So I'm really excited to have her on.
It's going to be a good episode.
Okay, so let's try this drink. We made the Tom Hanks drink. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen this drink, it's all over TikTok. It's champagne and Diet Coke. And from what I've seen, the consensus is it's delicious.
It sounds disgusting.
But we're both
not excited about it.
We haven't tried it. And we're gonna let you know how it goes. Are you ready? I'm really nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous.
I don't either. I'm not a champagne
I'm sure
person.
I drank something way worse than this in my life.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this looks gross. So Cheers.
Cheers. It's weird. No, I don't like it.
It has a like weird aftertaste.
Like peroxide. Ugh, no. No.
Hold on a second.
It tastes like hydrogen peroxide.
I don't get hydrogen peroxide, but
I do.
No, it's no. I don't like the aftertaste.
I'm not a fan.
No. No.
I'm going to pass on that one.
I should have started by letting you guys know that we don't like champagne. Just in general.
It doesn't taste like champagne, though. Not really.
It doesn't. I don't like that. Sorry, Tom. Okay, so the heart of Girl Same is that none of us are perfect, and that's okay. We all suck at life sometimes, and so we like to make fun of the times that we suck the most. It just makes it go down easier.
It does.
Right? So this week, we are going to share ours, but I want to share yours too. So send them in through any of the socials at Girl Same the podcast, and we'll talk about it here together and laugh about it together and get the fuck over it together.
Exactly, yes.
So my fail of the week, I had told you, Marissa, the other day that I didn't have any fails and I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. But rest assured, no worries. It didn't take long.
I felt pretty safe that you would come up with one.
It didn't take long. I think it was like an hour or two after I said that. The world's like, don't worry, I got you.
We got you.
So the other day I found a paper for my son Finn's yearbook. It was the form to order the yearbook. And I filled it out and I attached the check and I sent it back to the school for him. Mm-hmm. And then he quickly brought that back home with the filled out form, with the check, and a note saying that this was actually due at the beginning of the month, so nearly an entire month ago, and that it was too late to order.
Oh, no.
You know, I'm just really bad at due dates.
I'm terrible at due dates.
I thought it was new, and I was, like, impressed with myself. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, look at me. Found it, filled it out, attached the check, and put it back in the folder. Boom. I thought I had really achieved something.
You did not.
That note was so embarrassing. Like, I feel like it was like, Mrs. Tran. Like, she
Sorry
sighed.
to have to write you again.
That's exactly. Here we are again. So, yeah. You know, at this point, she probably just has it figured out, you know?
Yeah.
All right, you go ahead.
Okay, so my fail has actually been like a month in the making. I'm using it as this week's fail because I just learned today that I had failed. So
But you've been failing steady for like a month.
For a month,
Okay.
for a solid month, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I have been just extremely tired during the day, and I can't figure out why I will sleep, and then I'll wake up, and then I always need a nap. I just feel like I never get enough sleep. Well, my doctor has recently put me on a new medication for my ADHD. And and I've talked to her since she's put me on it, and she is just super surprised that I'm not feeling any side effects. She's like, you don't feel any jitteriness, you're not having any headaches. And I'm like, no, I don't feel it at all. So today I talked to her again, and I'm like, look, I don't know what this is, but I can't stop sleeping. I just have to sleep all the time. And she was like, that's just so weird. Are you taking this medication? And I'm like, yeah. And she said, when are you taking it? And I was like, at night. And she was like, oh. And I could see she was trying to be nice, but the way that she looked up and smirked, she was like, you dumbass. She told me, she said, if you're taking it at night, then it's causing you to sleep, restlessly. Restlessly.
There we go.
And then it's not kicking in with your energy during the day. So you're basically screwing yourself. And I was like, oh.
You're like, yeah, that checks out. That sounds about right.
So for the last month, I've been taking my daytime medication at night and just fucking myself over. But tomorrow is a new day. We will see how that goes.
You're going to have all this energy.
I'm going to complete all of this week's tasks that I slept through
You are.
in 1 hour tomorrow. I know it. I just know it.
You're like, wow, it's a whole new world.
That's what I'm banking on, honestly. At this
Anything's better, right?
Yeah. So that's my fail.
Well, I love doing these, and I hope that you guys hear this and it makes you feel better about your fails, because we all fail. It really isn't going to be hard to continually come up with
No,
fails
I've got
to
a couple
share.
more in the barrel ready to go.
We're going to play a game. So basically, what we did, we just thought it would kind of be fun to ask each other some questions. We got mom truths and never have I ever, like women edition, right?
Yeah,
It's women. The mom truths one is from Cat and Nat. That's their game, and they're just kind of funny. So we're just going to read them, say if we relate. I will go first.
All right, let's do it.
Spooning.
I do like to spoon. I want to be the small spoon, but only until I'm comfortable enough to go to sleep. And then you have to get off of me so I can go to bed.
That's how I feel. I mean, I don't mind a little cuddle sesh before, but like once I'm ready to go to sleep, I'm going to need to, it's going to need to feel like you're not even in the room. Coon likes to cuddle. Mm-hmm. He is definitely one who would like fall asleep breathing in my ear.
No. If I can feel your breath on me.
He definitely is. And so what I'll usually do as compromise is to let him like lay like that for as long as I can manage, which is like 4 or 5 minutes. It's not long. I have a very low tolerance.
He just wants to love you, Brittinie.
He just, so I'll let him lay there and he will inevitably fall asleep because that's like his best position to fall asleep in. And then, you know how you can hear their breath kind of change as they fall into sleep, and I'll like give him a minute or two, and then I'm like,
get out of here.
Get out of here. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I don't like it. I feel like I can't move because then when I do move, I'm disrupting you, and all of a sudden I'm very aware of how much I need to move, and it's the whole thing. I just hate it. I hate it so much. And so I think that the few minutes that I give him is generous, to be honest. It's torture for me. So,
well, luckily Brian feels the same way as I do. So if we do cuddle, it's a mutual, okay, we'll touch for a second. And then we go to our separate sides and we sleep.
Coon will sometimes too, like during the night, creep over and try and get some snuggles in. And he thinks that it's like in my head. So if I'm asleep, that it won't bother me, but I assure you that is not the case. So? I instantly wake up, and he's like, he's got me in this like lock hold, you know, this grip.
I can picture Coon like ninjaing over to
Right? It's the equivalent of being in like the hotel sheets where they tuck in all the
I
same
can't
thing.
stand that.
Same
When we
feeling.
make our bed at home, I tuck Brian's sheets under and I have to leave mine out because I have to let my little toes free.
So do I.
I can't sleep with tucked in
That
feet.
feeling is the same feeling he gives me when he does when I'm trying to sleep.
Poor
Not
Coon.
when I'm awake, okay? But when I'm trying to go to sleep. Don't touch me.
Yeah, daytime cuddling's fine.
That's
I'm fine
totally
with
fine.
that. That's cute,
Mhm,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. All right, plucking the hair on my upper lip.
Okay, not on my upper lip, but I do get these cute little furs down
What
here.
is that?
On
Oh,
my
they're-
chin.
They're furs.
It sounds better to say fur to me than I got this long black hair growing out
Ugh.
of my chin.
Mine's like a piece of straw.
Yeah, it's thick and black. right?
Yes. Every once in a while, you touch your chin and you're like, what is that?
Oh, I got
And
one
it's
right
like
now. I
out
can
of
feel it.
nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's worse is when you catch a side glimpse and you see it like
It shines in the
3
sun.
inches.
That's what happens. The ones I get like towards the front of my chin
Yeah.
are just small, but then there's one like in the middle
Yeah.
of my neck that grows really long, but it's blonde, so you can't see it until like you're out and about and the sun hits it in the right way.
And I never have tweezers on me either.
No,
That's horrible.
so never have I ever had my car booted or towed. Booted, no. Towed, yes, but at my request. So does that count?
No.
Oh, okay, well then no.
Oh, see, I have had both against my request.
You know you're supposed to pay. You pay every month and they don't
well,
do
here's
that.
the thing. I was a college student
Okay.
living in Chicago. They have like, you'll see like a sign with like 4 or 5 different signs on it. It'll be like Monday through Wednesday, no parking from 9 to 4, except for every other Wednesday. And then they would have, and I'm not exaggerating, it's like months, certain months. So you would like park and then you would sit there and be like, okay, it's not a Wednesday. It's not August. Oh shit. Is there? And then there was like Cubs games, and because we lived in Wrigley Field. And so if there was a Cubs game, you couldn't park in certain places. Do you know how many tickets I got?
Yeah, I
And-
wouldn't be able to do that.
Right? And so then you get a ticket. It's $50 if you pay it. But if you don't pay it, then it turns into $100. And then you don't pay it, turns into $150. Well, let me tell you, if I didn't have 50, I certainly don't have 150. And then if you get that and let it go, well, then they'll boot you. And eventually you will get towed away.
So you got booted and towed.
Booted and towed.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I actually, one other story about that that's so funny is when I lived in Wrigleyville, we lived like 2 blocks from Wrigley Field.
That's actually really cool.
It was
Yeah.
really fun, unless you owned a car. And then that just sucked.
Then we don't recommend.
No. I didn't drive my car all the time. So when I would go back home to the suburbs, I would park, or I would drive home and then I would get back on like Sunday. And if there was a game, that's when it got really, really, really difficult. And we would just drive around, my roommate and I would just drive around for like hours in circles trying to find, and you know, the circle would get wider and wider. Cause I'm like, at this point I will park and take a fucking cab home. Like I just need to park this car. And so I would, I found a spot, parked it, didn't need it for over a week. And then I was like, all right, need to drive. I got all my stuff. I walked down the steps of our apartment building. Literally no idea. No, I didn't know where it was.
That dude,
I didn't know where I parked it. I didn't know where I parked it. We drove for so long and I parked and I was like, oh my God, just wanted to get out of the car, you know, get out, started walking, we get home, whatever. I didn't know where we parked it. So we spent the entire day walking up and down streets, clicking the button, trying to find my car. Oh my. And the best part of the story is we did find it with a ticket that I had gotten an hour prior. That car probably deserves 6 or 7 tickets because that car sat in that spot for over a week and it probably was not supposed to. Didn't get a ticket until like an hour before.
Of course.
So, yes, I have been booted and towed.
We will accept it. We will accept it. It sounds terrible.
Never have I ever blown the chance to be friends with someone in high school who wound up rich and famous.
I don't know anybody who wound up rich and famous.
No, I don't either.
I'm going to say no.
No. My dad went to high school with Jane Lynch.
Really?
Isn't that kind of cool?
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stay in touch?
No.
Hmm.
He blew his chance to be friends with someone in high school.
He did. He screwed up big time.
He did.
Yeah.
I
That's
know.
a real... I'm kind of jealous. I don't know.
There's a
anybody
couple
famous.
people that I went to high school with that tried, I think, to be rich and famous. But as far as I know, I have no rich and famous friends. Just regular folks like you.
Why is that so funny?
I hardly could get it out.
You got my ugly laugh on camera. Okay, let me get it together.
Oh my god.
Just regular folk like me.
I said it so happy though.
But it sounds negative no matter how you say it. No one rich and
Just
famous.
regular people.
Just you.
Just you.
All right.
Go ahead.
Just take a breath for a second. That champagne got to me, I think.
2 sips, man.
That 2 sips. I did it. All right. This one is a mom truth. Hearing my husband complain about housework.
Now here's the thing. Am I answer? Yes. Is that a question?
What do you do in that scenario?
Um,
Coon comes down and complains about having to do the dishes.
Well, we went through a period of our relationship that that I so lovingly call the dark years. During those years, that happened quite often. And we almost didn't make it through those years for that reason.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. I think that when it's almost the same as when you hear the kids complain about cleaning and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wrong audience. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
It's not wrong audience here, guys.
Exactly.
I no part of me is gonna
Like, oh, was that hard for you? That one thing you did that's difficult for you?
exactly. So
Sounds
rough.
terrible.
How about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need you to do that. On another note, it drives me crazy when anybody in my house does anything that's not exactly how I need it done.
Yes.
So if he complains, then I'll be mad that he's complaining, but then I'll also be mad that he's doing it. It's a real jumbled up thing there.
And it's quite the conundrum.
Quite the conundrum. What is that? It says, call me Dill because I'm in a pickle.
All right, I got a mom's truth. Vodka in my coffee mug during a Zoom call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I'll have a double.
I'll have a double. I would prefer tequila. If all we have is vodka, that's fine. Also.
I listen to, because I stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Coon's Zoom calls. I listen to his meetings sometimes. And I tell him all the time when he gets off, like, thanks for taking one for the team.
It sounds boring, right? I've heard Brian on.
It's rough. It's so rough. It's so repetitive.
Well, you don't understand what they're talking about either, right?
No.
Okay, because
No,
both
God,
of
no.
our husbands are in IT.
Yeah.
I think maybe if I knew what they were talking about, it'd be a little bit better, but it all sounds like a foreign language to me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then he hangs up, and I always tell him, I'm like, man, good job. Thank you.
You did great. You did great out there.
Great. As I take my coffee mug full of vodka to the couch.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, vodka anytime, just not during Zoom, right?
No, and not so they see it. It's the coffee mug makes it okay, I think is what it's saying.
Here's another never have I ever. Said the words, the book was better.
I'm not one of those people who reads books. That's not where I was going with that when I said it, but it just seemed to fit. Oh my God. Listen. I know people who say that. I know people who are like, the book's better. The book's better. And you know what? I get it. You feel really cool saying that you read the book and now are watching the movie. But I didn't. And so to me,
Well, this
the
is
movie was
awkward.
fine. Are you that person? You are that person?
Sometimes the book is better, Brittinie.
Oh, no.
Sometimes it is, though.
All right. I think that is it for girls' night.
All right.
I had so much fun. I like playing this game.
I do too. Yeah, that was fun.
It's funny. You guys will have to let us know what you think. Thanks for hanging out with us for girls' night. Let us know what you think of our new mini episodes and find out what we'll be talking about at our next girls' night on all the socials at girlsamethepodcast. Don't forget, nobody really has their shit together as much as we think. So come hang out with us every Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Girl, same.